So Shaquille O'Neal thinks SGA was robbed of MVP this season, and we know that because he told Nikola Jokic point blank during the interview for Nikola winning the award that he thinks SGA should have won the award, which was a pretty bad move by him, in my opinion. It is Shaq. He does what he wants. I think he's completely wrong, but that's not what this video is about. It's about whether or not Shaq was robbed of an MVP like he says he was. So he would be the one to talk about someone being robbed of MVP because he claims he was in 2004-2005 by Steve Nash. And I wanted to look at whether or not he actually was robbed of that award. And spoiler alert, I don't think he was. I don't think he should have won that award. Not saying Nash should have. We'll get into that. But there's another award race that I do think Shaq should have won that I wanted to talk about. But let's get into it. So in 2005, the year Shaq likes to say he got robbed, Steve Nash won the award. And I don't really think Steve or Shaq should have won this award. But real quick, I want to go through their stats and compare them. So Steve averaged 15.5 points a game, 11.5 assists. He had 10.9 win shares, a PER of 22, a 4.4 value over replacement player, and they won 62 games. Shaq averaged 22.9 points a game, 10.7 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 2.3 blocks, had 11 win shares, had a PER of 27, had a 4.6 value over replacement player, and the Heat won 59 games. So they both had really good years. Nash definitely led that offense 100%. He was the reason that they were so good. But for both guys, their cases to me got hurt a little by them having a teammate who was just as good as them. And so you could argue that they were better. In Nash's case, it was Amari Stoudemire, averaged 26 points, 9 rebounds. He was a phenomenal player. And for Shaq, it was Dwayne Wade, who averaged 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He was a great defensive player. And I'm not saying you can't win the award while having a really good teammate on your team. LeBron did it with Dwayne Wade. Jordan did it with Pippen, and Magic did it with Kareem, and all that stuff. Bird with McHale. Like, you can win it with a really good player. You just have to be definitively better than that teammate. And I don't think... I understand Nash was the leader of that offense and kind of got everything going for that team. But I don't think that Nash or Shaq were definitively better or much, much better than Stoudemire and Wade, respectively. So that's a big reason why I don't think they should have won. Dirk Nowitzki, I think, had a better case. He was by far the best player on the Mavs. He had the second most win shares in the league. They won 58 games. So he had a good case. But I think the guy who had the best case was Kevin Garnett. The Wolves only won 44 games that season, but he had a monster year. He led the league in PER. He led the league in win shares on a 44-win team, which is crazy. Led the league in box plus minus and led the league in value over replacement player. While being by far the best player on his team. And again, you can have a good team, you can have good teammates, and still win the MVP. I just think someone like Dirk or definitely KG were better than their next best teammate. And Nash and Shaq had very, very good teammates, very comparable teammates to them. And you could even argue Stoudemire and Wade were better in some areas, definitely. And Stoudemire was 22, Wade was 23. Maybe that made a difference since there's only been 3 players since 2000 under the age of 25 to win MVP. But, Shaq and Nash were definitely the leaders of the team, but I just don't think they were head and shoulders above their next best teammates. So the year I think Shaq should have won was in 2001 when Allen Iverson won it. So quickly want to compare their stats. Allen Iverson averaged 31.1 points a game, 4.6 assists, 2.5 steals, had 11.8 win shares, a PER of 24, and a 6.1 value over replacement player and box plus minus. And the Sixers won 56 games. And Shaq averaged 28.7 points a game, 12.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.8 blocks. He had 14.9 win shares, which led the league. He had a 30.2 PER, which also led the league. And he had a 7.7 box plus minus, which also led the league, and a 7.1 value over replacement player. And the Lakers also won 56 games. So he had very close, not very close, but close to as good a season as he did the year prior when he won the MVP. And, Allen Iverson had a great year, certainly led the Sixers on offense. They needed him badly to get their offense rolling, and he carried a big load for that team. Great year, especially in the playoffs. We all know what he did there, but Shaq was dominant once again. Leading the league in 3 major advanced categories. You might be thinking, though, well, he had Kobe Bryant on his team. Weren't you just talking about how, Shaq had Wade on his team and Nash had Stoudemire, so they shouldn't really win the award? Well, in this case, I think Shaq was definitely better than Kobe Bryant. And the year prior, in 2000, Kobe was very similar. He played very similar to how he did in 2001. He just averaged more points in 2001 because he took on a bigger load, took more shots. But in 2000, he also made an all-NBA team. He also made an all-defense team. And Shaq still won the award because he was just much better. And it's the same thing this year. Shaq was just much better. It's just one of the cases where, yes, he had a very good teammate, but Shaq was still the guy. He was definitely better that season than Kobe Bryant. And, even Allen Iverson had some help. He had the Defensive Player of the Year, Dikembe Mutombo. So everyone's going to have some help. And it's, if it was just about being the best player on your team, you would just go to the bad teams and that have really good players and pick one of those guys. But I think, in my opinion, Shaq was definitely better than Kobe this year. And even another guy I would have picked over Allen Iverson would be Tim Duncan. Had a massive impact on the Spurs defense. They won 58 games. He had more win shares than Allen Iverson. I talk about win shares a lot. It's not all about that, but can give you a good indication. So I do think Shaq should have won this 2001 MVP award. His stats were very close to what they were in 2000. He was a monster again. Again, leading the league in win shares, PER, and box plus minus. That's pretty impressive. And, definitely it wasn't about the wins. The Sixers and Lakers had the same amount of wins. This is not to take away from AI. I think he had a really good year. But this year, I do think Shaq should have won the MVP. There's a lot that could go into both of these races. I could talk about a lot more, but I wanted to quickly run through these races and show why Shaq should not have won the 2005 award, which he claims he was robbed of, and he should have won the 2001 award, in my opinion, making him a back-to-back MVP winner. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think he was robbed here? Do you think he was robbed in 2005? Let me know of any other MVP robberies that you can think of. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.